for us, in March, we appointed Dr. Ed Wing, a nationally known infectious disease expert and former dean of medicine at Brown University, as our chief medical advisor. And then we spent, like you, months working with the Department of Health, with the American Federations of Musicians Union, orchestras around the world, and we've read all the possible research that's been conducted on COVID and musical performance. So the consensus that we came to is similar to what you came to, which is social distancing is key on and off stage. Masks are a must, or instrument covers for those who play wind instruments. And we also do weekly testing of all the vet staff, right, and our performers and backstage staff, so that and artists, so that we know that no one is coming into the facility who's tested positive for COVID on our side. I know that our orchestra members feel quite safe, and so do the staff, with all the measures that are in place.
Very nice. If I could ask you a quick question for people coming to the concerts, what does this all mean for what they're going to actually be watching and listening to on stage? How has this impacted the music itself?
Right. Well, I mean, the most obvious thing is you look up there on stage, whether you're in the hall or at home, and you see far fewer musicians, right? And most of them are masked. So there's a visual change, and there's an oral change in that we're performing works for smaller groups. So while we might be playing, the same composers we would on a typical season, we're doing different music, and that's an opportunity actually to play some repertoire that we wouldn't normally play, and to explore some living composers' works that we wouldn't, especially that we wouldn't normally play. And so far, the audiences have really responded to that music. We have fewer pieces on the program in order to keep the programs shorter. So we really are trying to keep them under an hour. Our gala in October was different. So for those who watched the gala, it was longer on purpose, but most of our programs will be under an hour, and then we can have no intermission.
When you're watching the orchestra, you might see some of them wearing masks or other types of face coverings. Can you talk for a second on that?
Yeah, so the rules are a combination of masking and distancing, right? So and the biggest concern is for winds and brass players. So the regulations are that they have to have either a face covering with a slit or a bell cover to prevent spread of the aerosols. And then depending on which method we choose, studies tell us how far we need to distance them from other players to keep everybody on stage safe. So depending on what they're using and distancing, that's how we determine. So people shouldn't be alarmed if they see a French horn player, for instance, without a mask on. They can't see it, but they've actually got a cover on their bell.
Now, I know on our end, everything seems to be going smooth. The people I've talked to that have been here for the last concert really, kept talking about what a unique experience it was to actually see the Philharmonic this way. How's everything been working on your end? What have you been hearing?
It's been incredibly emotional for the staff and for the musicians involved to be able to welcome audience back to the vets, thanks to your incredible efforts and your team, and to be able to do what we do, which is to make live music for an in-person audience. And now we're fortunate through the technology that we've brought to bear to a large at-home audience as well. It's like an incredible weight has been lifted now that we can get back to serving this community. And so thank you for being such a great partner. And I know, we tried to cover a lot of bases in a short amount of time, but for everybody who's watching this that wants to learn more, they can go to our websites, thevetsri.com, right?
Yep, absolutely. We created a whole page, the Safe and Clean Commitment, that has all of the specifics.
And RIPO.org will have links, but we'll also potentially put up the specific links at the end of this broadcast, so you can click on them and find out more if you want. And of course, if you want to come to performances, go to streamrifil.org to find out how to stream or how to subscribe. And we hope to see you online or in person at the Vets soon. Thanks.